It's Friday, 20th of June, and it's time for your Minidisc update for the week. Quick update today because we're in the middle of our end of financial year sale. So check that out, links in the description of the video. Firstly, new things. We've got the Mefisto, which is the new release from Forte ears, slotting in just below the Macbeth. And in what seems to be a trend for the model, which is one below the flagship, the Mefisto is warmer and richer than the top model. Joseph is loving the Mefisto. I'm still making up my mind, but we will let you know more about it in a later video. Now, the Cayin RU9, which I mentioned in last week's video, is really making a splash at the store. The Cayin RU9 is a portable amp DAC which uses modern day Korg new tubes rather than any sort of vintage new old stock tube. This is Cayin's fifth product using these tubes, so clearly they've gotten very comfortable with designing around this particular vacuum tube. So I thought I'd talk more about the RU9 because I really like this thing. The killer feature of the RU9 is that both with the included case and the unit itself, you can attach it to any MagSafe compatible phone. So you slap it on your phone and suddenly you have this very chunky audio stack. And one of my favorite features, call me a stickler for attention to detail, but Cayin has put the volume knob exactly where your finger would naturally rest when you hold the device. Now, in terms of sound, the RU9 is a hybrid tube amplifier, so you can choose between solid state and tube modes. And with the tube mode, you can choose between classic and modern tube timbre. The difference is pretty subtle between the two modes, but the modern mode I find a little bit edgier, a little bit more forward. In general, with both tube modes, it's not a very strong kind of goopy vacuum tube effect. It's a little bit more subtle. What it will do is it will tend to smear the transient response just a little bit, so that if you have a headphone that has really strong attack, the RU9 will do a very good job of sweetening that sound and making it a little bit less forward without necessarily smothering the sound. For a tube amp connected to a phone, the noise floor on the RU9 is impressively low, and I would have no hesitation using the RU9 even with very sensitive IEMs. It's also got enough output power to drive quite low sensitivity headphones like planar magnetics. However, I wouldn't say that this is an absolute powerhouse. If you want desktop levels of power, that's what the C9 II is for. But obviously, you're going to pay for the C9 II both in terms of dollars and grams. The RU9 really is like a baby version of the C9 II in terms of tonality, but it has much less power output and it's a fraction of the size, a fraction of the cost. The RU9 can actually do a few extra tricks compared to the C9 II because it's an amp DAC. So compared to the C9 II, which is a pure amp, the RU9 only accepts digital inputs, and it accepts USB-C input, SPDIF input and output, and even Bluetooth input. But let's face it, if you're going for that analog vibe of a tube amp, are you really going to use Bluetooth input? Then again, Bluetooth turntables do exist these days, so I guess anything goes. For me, the RU9 is pretty much a perfect device for what it offers. The only thing I can say I really don't like about it is that the screen on the RU9 is tiny, and the icon on that screen to indicate which mode you're in, solid state, tube, that thing is almost impossible to read, and that's pretty much my biggest complaint about the RU9. Other than that, I can't say enough good things about the RU9. This product is a really nice marriage of the old and the new, so you really ought to come in, have a listen, let us know what you think. This is Lachlan for Minidisc TV, and we'll see you next time.